Dog left home alone howls every day, but then bus comes and saves the day. Dog owners know that a dog doesn't just need food, water, and a roof over his head. But if you've never actually owned a dog, you may be surprised there are a lot more responsibilities. When Laura decided to get a dog, she never thought that her pooch had a special condition. And there she was now, with Marley, barking at the door every day. She hushed him and ran to pick up all the pieces of paper he had destroyed while she was at the bathroom, getting ready to leave for work. Caring for him was a full-time job. Tired, she said you just went outside. But Marley was pawing at the door, ready to howl and throw a tantrum. As a puppy, Marley was filled with energy and now, at 1-year-old, he still had the same energy and when he heard noises outside, he wanted to be there and investigate. And if he was inside the house, he'd do this. From inside the house, Marley's job apparently was to bark at everything moving outside. But Laura didn't regret having him since she had always wanted to have a dog. She had to find a way and calm this exhausting dog. When she finally finds a solution, she cannot believe she didn't think about it in the first place. Having a dog has always been Laura's dream. She was a little girl when she fell in love with dogs and envied everyone who passed by her, walking their dogs. She greeted and pet them, including the strays, until her mom forbade her to approach strange dogs. But now she was an adult and she could have her own pup. Once she became an adult, Laura got a job and then got herself a loyal companion. Before having a dog, her house was empty. Coming home from work and finding only silence was depressing. But one morning, on her way to work, she met a black puppy sitting all alone on the pavement. The tiny black pup was looking at her, and Laura knew it was meant to be. She took him to the vet, where she found out that he was a black Labrador. He had been abandoned and looked weak and malnourished. Meeting Marley was a sign, thought Laura. The mangy pup needed treatment and special care, and Laura needed a friend. Getting a puppy was among her plans, and if fate brought them together then she was willing to adopt this pooch and give him a home. Soon, Laura would find the wild side of Marley, though. Months passed and Laura took care of Marley. He flourished and had brought happiness at the office where he would spend all the day getting cuddles from every co-worker. But as he grew bigger than the cardboard box he liked to sleep in, Marley had to stay home while Laura was at work. Not many dog owners know, but when taking care of a puppy, it's important to let them home alone for a few times a day, even for a few minutes. That's how they learn that even though they're home alone, the owner will always come back. With Marley, things had been different. Laura had worried about Marley's health and took him everywhere, so basically they were inseparable. So when Laura left him at home for the first time, Marley simply transformed. He'd howl, bark and destroy things in the house to get to Laura. Imagine her reaction when she got back home. Smashed lamps, torn furniture, chewed couch, scratched doors. Laura's house looked like it had been attacked by a pack of hyenas. Neighbors complained about the noises, and Laura feared this would go on forever. She went to the vet, hoping she'd learn something to help her, and that's where she discovered that Marley had a condition. When Laura got at the vet and explained her situation, the doctor knew what was going on. Marley had been used to having constant company. Now, left alone for hours, Marley was distressed, agitated and looking for his owner. His condition wasn't exactly rare. Many other owners that had stayed at home with their puppies experienced the same things like Laura. Marley was having separation anxiety. When Laura prepared to leave home, he'd bark and howl to prevent her from leaving, but when she was at home, he was an angel. Laura had to choose from taking Marley with her at the office or find a job that let her work from home. None of these choices were possible, though. Then, she decided to look for a dog sitter. Looking on the internet for a dog sitter, Laura realized that there weren't any people willing to care for Marley a whole day while she was at work. Social media posts didn't help either, and Marley had destroyed the house with every passing day. Laura tried to find different ways to teach Marley that it was safe to stay home alone. Laura read books about separation anxiety, looked at tutorials on how to solve this issue. They took Marley on long walks, gave him more attention when needed, but nothing worked. The vet offered medication, but Laura refused. She had one more trick up her sleeve, and she really hoped this would work. She dressed Marley with a jumper because it was chilly outside in the winter. It was breaking her heart to say goodbye. Being the only constant in her life and her best friend, Laura knew she'd miss him, but she had run out of options. Maybe it was better for both. Then, she heard the horn. Laura opened the front door and felt the cold air in her face. Marley stepped into the fresh snow as a yellow bus was waiting for him in front of the gate. The bus was filled with crates of all sizes, holding different dogs. Marley was confused, but Laura tugged his leash and handed him to the driver. "It's going to be fine," said Laura, more to herself than to Marley. Laura needed help and she had to rely on someone who would take good care of her beloved pet. Marley needed to go to a place where he could get enough exercise, but also where he could be warm. That's when she heard about Good Hands Boarding Kennels, a place where dogs were safe while their owners were at work. How did Marley react to this new scenery? After complaining about being confined in a crate, Marley stopped shaking once the bus stopped and reached the destination. Dogs around him barked and howled. But once reaching the destination, the crates were opened and the crowd of dogs rushed towards the building. There, a team of dog lovers and co-founder Rachel Haggett greeted the pups with some treats, and all of the dogs were ready to pounce for some more goodies. Then, Marley began playing around with the other dogs, checking out every corner of the garden and hopping on trampolines. "We don't know about you, but we'd be pretty excited if we were dogs. Treats, toys, bowls, bones and a lot of space to run around surrounded by other dogs." The Good Hands boarding kennels was definitely a dream destination for Marley and Laura. The disaster Marley had managed to do at home was now only a funny story Laura would tell her co-workers and friends. Now every morning, Marley would bark at Laura, but this time to tell her to hurry up and get his backpack. He didn't want to miss his bus. Rachel Haggett and her partner Wayne DeVoe founded Good Hands boarding kennels in 2011, and the doggy daycare had brought peace to plenty of dog owners. "I figured since we all love our dogs like our kids, it would be fitting," Haggett told the Dodo. For Laura and Marley, it was more than fitting. In the summer, Rachel brought a swimming pool, and the dogs simply loved it. "One of my favorite days was the opening of our swimming pool," Haggett said. "The dogs loved it so much. They love when we get something new." Now Laura was at peace because she knew Marley was safe and happy, he was getting the attention and exercise he needed, and because her house was no longer looking like a crashing site. "I hate the thought of them sitting at home all day bored or in a crate when they could be here playing," Haggett said. "Marley and the dogs at the doggy daycare are the happiest dogs on earth right now.